You know, when we think of Albert Einstein, we picture a genius, right? Someone who changed science forever. But what if I told you his most famous ideas didn't come from a fancy university lab? Nope, they came from a pretty normal desk job at a patent office. So, let's dive into this really surprising chapter of his life.
Okay, I want you to picture this. Imagine walking into an office in Bern, Switzerland, way back over 100 years ago. You look over and you see a young man just working quietly at his desk. Who is he? He really just looks like any other office worker. Well, that young man was Albert Einstein. Yes, the Albert Einstein. This was long before he was world famous for his incredible ideas about physics. Back then, he was really just starting out. So let's set the scene a little bit. Our story doesn't start in a big lecture hall or a laboratory. It begins in the beautiful city of Bern, Switzerland, where a young Einstein was just trying to figure things out. The year was 1902, and just like so many young people, Einstein needed a job. He needed to make a living. He wasn't a famous professor yet, not at all. He was just a young man who needed a steady paycheck. So he finally got a job at the Swiss Patent Office. His official title? Technical Expert Class 3. Now that sounds pretty formal, doesn't it? But really, it was just a starting-level government job. It was secure, sure, but not very exciting. Okay, so he landed the job. But what did a Technical Expert Class 3 actually do all day? Let's take a closer look at what Einstein's life was like as an office worker. First off, what even is a patent office? Well, it's pretty simple. It's a place where inventors send their ideas for new machines and gadgets. The experts there, people like Einstein, would study these ideas to see if the inventions were really new, and if they would actually work. Now, for a mind like Einstein's, this kind of work wasn't super challenging. He was actually really good at it and usually finished all his tasks pretty quickly. And this gave him something that was maybe even more valuable than his salary: free time. Free time to just think. And what he did with that free time is where this story gets really, really interesting. It all has to do with a little secret he kept hidden right there in his desk drawer. You see, Einstein kept all his own notes and his own scientific calculations, his real passion, tucked away in his desk drawer. He even had a little joke about it. He called that drawer his Department of Theoretical Physics. It was like his own secret lab for his universe-changing ideas. So while his day job was to check other people's inventions, his mind was busy with the biggest questions you can imagine. He was thinking about light, about time, about how the universe works, developing his own theories, right there at his humble office desk. All of this secret thinking was leading to something huge, and it all came together in one single year, a year that was so important, scientists still talk about it today. That year was 1905. It's often called Einstein's miracle year. And why a miracle year? Because in this one year, while still working his normal 9 to 5 at the patent office, he did something absolutely amazing. He published 4 incredible scientific papers. I mean, not one, but 4. And each one of these papers would go on to completely change science. And remember, he wrote them in his spare time. And get this, one of those papers introduced his theory of special relativity. This is where the most famous equation in the world comes from. You know the one, E equals mc squared. It was an idea that completely changed how we understand space and time and energy, all from the mind of a patent clerk. So after 1905, the secret was out. The world of science started to pay attention to this quiet office worker in Bern. And from that point on, his life would never be the same. You can see how fast things moved for him. He started the job in 1902. Just 3 years later, in 1905, he has his miracle year. And by 1909, his scientific work was so important that he could finally leave the patent office to become a full-time scientist. Einstein's time in Bern was so important that the apartment where he lived back then is now a museum. It's called the Einstein House. People from all over the world can visit and see the place where a genius lived a simple life and completely changed our world. So what can we learn from all this? Well, Einstein's story shows us that world-changing ideas don't always come from fancy labs or famous universities. Sometimes they can start in a quiet office, hidden away in a desk drawer. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Can a simple job lead to ideas that change everything?
In Einstein's case, the answer was a definite yes.